Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a preseason draft review and go through some general tips for an FPL season. Firstly, we'll start with no CDMs. Please don't pick any defensive midfielders in your teams. They're pretty much just 3-point merchants. Their role is to defend, is not to go and score goals, and they don't get clean sheet points. So I think it's quite a trap with some of the low prices that they hold. Secondly, overloading your bench. Putting money on your bench is quite a big mistake, especially if you're putting a lot. Games aren't getting cancelled like they used to in the last couple of seasons, so you don't need a strong bench to try cover your starting lineup, and you can reinvest that money back into your starting lineup. Thirdly, choose players with the highest point ceiling. So you want players that have got the most opportunity to get as many points as they can. So picking like a wing back over a centre back is a good choice because your wing back can get you attacking and defensive returns, where normally your centre back would pretty much just get you defensive returns. Don't go differential just for the sake of it. So if you have a player you really want to pick and they don't have high ownership, fine. If you really think that's your player, then go for him. But don't just pick a player because no one has him and you think maybe you could get lucky and you could get a whole bunch of points one week. It's probably not going to work and you're going to be left needing to transfer him out. Minutes are important. The longer your player has on the pitch, the better the opportunity they're going to have to score. You don't want a player coming off the bench and trying to score in the last 10 minutes of a game every single game. So try pick players that are going to play the most amount of minutes rather than players that get subbed off early or have to come on late in a game. Lastly, try make moves with more than one game week in mind. So you want to make a transfer with 2 or 3 game weeks in mind at least. So you're not picking a player that has a good game week this week and then they're getting absolutely slaughtered for the next 2 weeks by Manchester City and Liverpool back to back. So draft 1, a premium backline. It's got Robertson, James, Trent and Cancelo in it. All 3 are wing backs or fullbacks. Big point scorers, probably some of the best in FPL. The rest of the team, low cost goalkeepers, Sanchez and Ward. Martinelli, Grealish, Bailey, Salah, a good range of prices across the midfield gives you flexibility to swap in between different players throughout the season. And then a strong forward line of Jesus and Kane. They've got very good fixtures and are looking to score a lot of points this season. Draft 2 is a very interesting one. It's got a triple up on 8 million midfielders. So it's gone quite light 3 at the back with Trent, James and Trippier. Then they've gone a full stack in the midfield of Salah at 13 mil, Bowen at 8.5, Saka at 8, Foden at 8 and Martinelli at 6. So this relies heavily on attacking output for these teams, and it has an Arsenal triple up. So if you go with something like this, you're going to have to be relying on Arsenal firing on all cylinders. Some issues I've got with this is Alisson is a bit of a waste in the goalkeeping position because he's not really going to get you any save points and he's just going to kind of churn out clean sheets, but it also locks you in to only 2 outfield Liverpool players. The same can be said with the bench of Forster and Delap, where you're losing a Manchester City position and a Spurs position if you're looking to do a triple up later on in the season. The third draft, the differential mids. So going with players like Sancho and Mahrez instead of the other template ones like Saka and Bowen that we've been seeing a lot. They've had good preseasons and they're quite low ownership, so there's some points to be had. It's a bit more high risk because you're going against the crowd, and if other midfielders score points and yours don't, or they don't end up starting, then you could be chasing a bit of a points total. The rest of the team is pretty normal target over Trippier, also a bit more of a differential pick than going with the crowd. And then Greenwood in the bench is a potential banana skin because you could lose some team value if he doesn't perform because of his high ownership. So draft 4 is a no Salah draft. It opts to pick De Bruyne as the premium midfielder over Salah. This draft also has Son over Kane, which between the two is pretty much they're quite the same on points, just Son is more expensive. Some of the other picks aren't that great in Rashford and Ramsey. I don't think they're going to score that many points, but they are quite differentials, so it could pay off. They've got decent fixtures. Perisic is a very good pick, I think, as long as he plays. And then Bowen is a nice pick for game week 2, so some longevity, even though game week 1's not a great pick. And lastly, the forward divide of Haaland versus Kane, I just want to highlight. So pretty much these are the two forwards everyone's picking. I think the overall selection is Haaland is much higher than Kane. I don't think that reflects that Haaland is better than Kane. I think Kane is more consistent and more proven, especially in FPL and the Premier League. Haaland is new to the league, and I think minutes risk is a big thing. Pep likes rotating his squad, and I feel like Haaland, especially in his first season at Manchester City, could see some rotation through the squad. But it's going to pretty much come down to which one you prefer. Thanks for watching the video, and don't forget to subscribe.